Sentire Media.
Well, good morning. Thank you for downloading the podcast from Italy, the 20th of January, 2025. First podcast of the year. Lots of energy. Here we go.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, the mama cat. You're on mama cat. Mama cat wants in. It is a drizzly, rainy Monday morning. Perfect for firing up the microphones. For the first one of the season. In comes the mama cat, surrounded by animals. We live in a dog den. Let's get to it.
Let's back it up to the holidays.
Yeah.
We did the last podcast was right before Christmas.
So we were lucky enough this year. We had snow on the 23rd of December. Not the most snow you've ever seen in your life, but enough.
I'll take it. I will take it. Also, because last year we didn't even get a freaking flake. So this was
not a freaking flake.
Not a freaking flake. So this was nice because it was lasted for just a day or two. But what was even better was on the drive on Christmas Day, there was snow along the edge of the road. So it felt very holly jolly.
Our mama cat walks across the keyboards of our computer, and we should make videos of her because she knows the shortcuts to
unknown shortcuts.
And I come in, and there's just some weird screen with what looks like hacker code on it.
Totally.
And it's like, Mom, and she's laying on the keyboard, and it's like, what are you doing? All right, Mama, I love you. Buzz off.
So Christmas Eve was lovely. We had Gachi and Rosanna over, and Rosanna was in full form, had already talked to Jason, and came fully stocked with all of the ingredients to make dinner.
Now, there was a misunderstanding. I thought Gachi was going to his family, and Rosanna was, because she made a big deal out of it. Now, that's two misunderstandings in the last. I think I didn't misunderstand, and originally she was coming by herself. And Gaji was going to go to his family's house for the Christmas Eve. However, they both came together, and of course, nothing was spoken about that.
No, of course not. But I was really more confused on why we've been here going on 17, 18 plus years now. Why was this the first time, and doing Christmas with Gaji Christmas Eve with them multiple times? Why was this the very first time we had actual fish? We've done it.
No, that's not true. We have fish every year.
We do, but we normally we'll have it at their house, and we'll have the smoked salmon on crappy bread with a little butter.
Yep.
And then we'll have pasta with vongole.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But that's not what I've heard of. And we live in Italy.
You want the 12 fish? Yeah. We got the feast of the 12 fishes.
I want the 12 fishes.
No, I think it's because the next day is Christmas and you're going to eat like an idiot.
I don't care. I want to eat like an idiot 2 days in a row. And they live on the coast, and they have a hookup with a great fish guy, which he'd done a ton of the prep.
So this year she did. She made antipasti, the primo, and a secondo. And no one ate the secondo, by the way.
Well, there was so much food.
Maybe that's why she never makes a second course, because no one eats it.
But it was great. I was so happy just to see it. We ate it the next day. It was delicious.
No, next day was Christmas Day.
Well, whatever. But I just was finally happy to see a little more than just the vongole, which I was like, we could get that any time.
Just this homemade pasta with beautiful vongole. This is for peasants.
And of course, since it's Rosanna, there was no shells.
No, of course not. She gets it. She gets it shelled.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Day was very nice. We went to Rosanna's nephew's house. He has a beautiful house in the hills above Città di Castello
in Umbria. And yeah, we've done this now a few years as well. And it's always laid back. It's nice. They're hilarious.
They're not formal.
No,
this is like the kids roll up in sweatpants.
Exactly, and it's just the nephew, his wife, and their two kids who they're in their early 20s, and they're just such a laid-back, chill family. And it's also so different than when we've gone to Gaji's families, and it's just pure chaos, and everyone's yelling at each other and all of this.
But it's more fun. I have to say.
It is more fun.
It's more entertaining.
But this was hilarious because Gaji is always still true to himself. And we go to sit down for dinner, or lunch, sorry, and there was a bottle of wine on the table. And
very nice. They don't drink crap. Very nice.
No, I'm sure it was a wonderful bottle of wine. And Gaji immediately grabs the bottle, starts reading it. Now, he's not like a wine snob, but on Christmas Day, I guess he is. He was like, this isn't a strong enough, there isn't enough, how would you say, the gradi, the proof? The percentage of alcohol to wine. And he was like, this is only like 13%. This is not a Christmas Day percentage of wine.
He wants 15, 16.
So then they go to like grab another bottle or two, and they're putting on glasses to read the back to see what the percentage. And then finally they're like, just go pick one out yourself, old man. Like, what? And it was just like, it was hilarious. But just even on Christmas Day, busted chops is classic Gaji.
Speaking of Gaji, he came over they have been in Fano for a few weeks after the holidays because the weather's been really, really cold here. So he came up for this past weekend.
Now retired.
And he's now fully retired, so I don't know what that means.
Oh, just that, I don't know. I don't know.
He worked 2 days a week, and now he
That's
doesn't.
true.
Anyway, we got to sit down and watch together. This is fun because I haven't seen this one in a while. We sat down and watched the whole Die Hard 2, the one where it's in New York with Samuel L. Jackson in Italian with Gaji. And I don't think he's ever seen it. He said he did, but the way he was watching, I don't think...
Oh, he was in.
He was into it.
You were like, pick something for dinner because Jason was making classic grilled sausages and schiacciata, which is the cabbage and potatoes smashed together. And he was like, find something to watch, turn on. And FYI, for anyone looking, Mediaset.it has a ton. It's obviously a ton of Italian television and whatnot, but you can find all these free movies and stuff all in Italian. And so no commercials and nothing. You just sign up totally free. And
it's great because if you know the plot, you don't have to understand every word. Because there's a lot of slang going on.
Oh my gosh! The end, I cracked up to hear the Bruce Willis try to say "yippee-ki-yay." It was like "yippee-ki-yay" or something. It was something so hilarious, and I just busted out laughing. But yeah, that was fun.
Sorry, I interrupted our flow from Christmas. So that really was the only kind of funny story from Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was pretty standard.
We drive ourselves now. We blame it on the dogs, but for the last few years.
We've talked about this, but the road from us to Città di Castello, the pass over the Apennine, is only maybe 20 kilometers.
Sure.
It's not far. No. It's just all turns. It's really, really turny. And in years past, Gaji will... he's complaining about the alcohol level of the wine, that we want to up it. And then we're driving home after, 5 hours of boozing and eating. And Gaji goes fast on the straights and then super slow through the...
And he's kind of a drifter.
He's a little bit of a drifter.
A lane drifter.
So now we just say, it's easier. We got to come home for the dogs.
Otherwise, we call it the suicide ride. It's like...
it is. Are we going to make it home this Christmas?
Just like, even if you're full and tired or something coming back, your eyes are just peeled.
Oh, you're awake. You're awake.
You're just peeled on the road. I know.
It's kind of like my grandpa was a little like that as he got older? As Gaji's age. He would drive 45 everywhere. So if we're on the freeway, it's 45. If you're on a tiny little surface street, it's 45 and too fast. 45 everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, Befana...
The old guys here do like 30 everywhere. And
well, they're in
they stay in third gear. Third gear's favorite gear.
They're in little Pandas, so they've got 40 horsepower. So.
But you hear them push it sometimes.
All right, Befana came after the New Year's is nothing. I'm not a New Year's person. I've worked in the kitchen my whole life. I don't care.
We hung out and watched rockin' New Year's Eves.
We're such losers. Go back and watch all the Dick Clark rockin' New Year's Eves from the When we started at 75, everyone was coked out. It was really hysterical to see like the scene. Then we did one from
mid 80s. Then
mid 80s. Kirk Cameron was the
yep, and Lori Loughlin.
Lori Loughlin. Then the early 90s. I forget who was
hanging with Mr. Cooper.
That's right, Mr. Cooper. Well, obviously you do remember.
I do.
But they were great.
But even better were the musical guests. It was just like what? None of them stood up from like, oh, they're still around, or that was really good music. One of them was like Joey Lawrence playing something like that.
It was Joey Lawrence. Anyway,
with musical guests.
if you want to go to bed at 9:30 next year on New Year's Eve, go ahead and watch some Dick Clark rockin' New Year's Eves from years gone by.
Yep, it was fun.
Good times.
It was fun.
Befana or the Epiphany, that's a big holiday around here, the 6th, because Urbania is what is known as the home of La Befana, the Good Witch.
Urbania is one of our neighboring little towns.
And they have a big festival, one of the bigger festivals, winter festivals around here in the area. It's really fun. That's one of the reasons I think we were here for Befana when we were coming through looking for
At Properties.
And
sister.
that's one of the first festivals we went to in the middle. It was great.
So we have a nostalgia for it. So because this little town calls themselves the home of Befana, they do it all weekend long. So this year Befana was on a Monday and Epiphany was on a Monday. So they started the festivities on Friday.
Now, Urbania is not the only town in Italy who calls themselves the home of La Befana.
Correct. I'm sure she lives a lot of houses. So we thought, let's go on Friday. It'll be a little bit quieter, and the weather was supposed to start, or maybe we went Saturday, whatever it was, Saturday.
We didn't go for the big day.
No, it was like Sunday and Monday. It's going to be crazy, and the weather's supposed to deteriorate, so let's go Saturday evening. And we get there at like 6:30-ish. I'm thinking prime time. We're always there so early, but then this one, it closed early, I think, that night too. But what's hilarious is the last few years we've talked about this, but they've started charging an entrance fee.
Nothing big. This year it was, if you didn't have any of the discounts, it was €5 a head. Mm-hmm. And with nothing. But of course, if you're a senior, if you live in the village, if you
are a student,
if you're a part of the Lions Club, if you're part of, whatever. But it was
K Casino. So from kids in groups like trying to bum rush through their little one check. First of all, you have to go get a ticket, wait in line. Then you go to see, and they have to scan the ticket, do a thing on their phone. All of this for $5, and can you just stamp my hand?
Yeah, and
can
give
you
me a
stamp
stamp.
my hand? No, they have to register and pre-scan your thing, and then the other person has to scan it.
Then it had to go to an app and get a thing back from an app. It's this is ridiculous.
Jesus Christ! So then the lady has her thing to scan us to go up, but yeah, kids are bum rushing, trying to go through in crowds. And
well, the reason is it's not just they're closing off the whole center of the village. So it's 6:00 in the afternoon. There's a pharmacy in there. There's butchers in there.
Yeah, it's not like this is at the soccer stadium.
No. This is the center of the little village.
Town.
The dry cleaner and the pharmacy and the butcher.
And because this is an super old walled city, there truly is only three entrances or exits.
Three entrances. So you have people who are just trying to do errands who are pissed that they can't just get through, and they have to go and buy a ticket. It's I'm not buying a ticket. This one lady went. I say this because we were standing in line, we were trying to give the ticket, the entrance lady our ticket, and another lady came up, and she was livid.
And then I saw one of the guys who comes and runs down our road, and we were chatting for a second, and then him and his buddy were arguing with the lady at the ticket, not the ticket lady, but the scanner, going, no, we're not coming to the festival. We're just going to the bar. She's like, it doesn't matter. But hilariously, we paid proper patrons and walked around our prerequisite 45 minutes, had a drink.
Well, I do agree with them. It's one thing you're right, if it's at this Centro Sportivo or something like that, but they're cordoning off the whole.
I know, but I also
during
understand
business hours.
I know, but I also get it too that they
need to figure something out with their residents, where it's residents. Here's a pass. Here's a pass for residents or something. But they do have a point about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, this year at least, no satanic.
Oh my God! Last year,
performances.
Their whole spectacular. They have a big spectacular. Show. It was freaking weird. It was
so
dark.
In the main piazza they have a big stage they'll set up.
Yeah, it was dark. Dark as in ominous, and they had
fires and
demons and all this really weird. If you watch the weird Olympic ceremonies, it was right in line with that kind of weird stuff. This year was much better.
There was sacrifices.
There was a little rapey. There was a little rape scene
You're
going
not
on there.
Use that word on podcasts.
Don't care. Unliving.
Yeah.
Anyway, this year was much more back to the traditional.
We laughed about a lot of sad things.
This was much more traditional this year. There was a woman who balanced on a rope thing.
Like kind of trapeze chicks.
And a guy
like
juggling a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, like a kind of mime juggler who then played a beautiful solo trumpet.
He did play a beautiful.
And it was like,
it was nice.
So
it was
nice.
like, oh, this is, family friendly. We don't have to look at each other and then look at people around us. Like, what the hell is this thing?
Exactly. So that was...
and La Befana descended from the church and everything. Everyone was happy.
A little return to normalcy in the countryside.
Yes.
Also in the holidays, are we at the Lardo?
No, we're at Boar. So Boar hunting is wrapping up at the end of the month, but through Christmas and New Year's in Befana they were out here a lot.
It was hot. This was Traffico Intenso.
Of the boar hunters. And we know all of them, the group from Sant'Angelo and the group from Piobico. And both of them were killing boar behind our house.
Not just behind us. Like, we'd go out to take the dog for a walk, and it was like, you go to the left, and there's orange coats and flags out. You go to the right. Like, it almost felt like you couldn't leave our house because we could, but it's going out with the dogs and just going, it's going to be a whole thing. But they were all over our area.
They were all over our zone of walking.
And they all know the dogs, so it's not a big deal, but it was still...
We have no problem with it.
We're friendly with all of them.
Absolutely. But we are the benefit, since they were all around here, both groups dropped us off a bunch of boar meat. One group dropped us off beautiful, cleaned.
Oh, it was so nice.
In pieces.
He's really sweet.
He's good. In individual 1 kilo sacks.
And in like double sacked bags and stuff too. And you were like, oh my God, this is gorgeous.
Right to the freezer. Like I didn't have to do anything with it.
And he was like, would you like a recipe? I open the door and he goes to hand it to me and goes, this is perfect for spezzatino. And would you like the recipe as well? And I was like, okay. And he just starts to ramble it off. And then Jason walks by. I was like, why don't you give it to him? I was like, he's the one who would make it. But really nice.
And the group from Piobico asked us if we wanted boar. I said, yeah, sure, we'll take some. He brings us off.
You said just leave it on the back patio.
Leave it on the back patio. He dropped off a juvenile whole animal, just shot. And it's like, oh. Now you say, well, you don't, there's a lot that goes into this.
Okay, so hold on to set this up. This day, you had been pruning the hedges
all day. I'm just showered.
It's just also, it's not like, it's just a little bush.
All the hedges.
How many
it doesn't
meters?
matter.
No, but just seriously, how many meters?
100 meters of bushes.
100 meters of bushes. So he's been working outside all day, freshly showered. He sat down, he goes, I'm done for the night. Bang, 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 bang on the door, literally moments later. And sure enough,
there's a
dead
probably
animal.
This thing was heavy. It wasn't big, but
like
it was
50
heavy.
kilos?
Yeah, it was heavy. So probably 100 pound, 110 pound boar, juvenile. And you can't leave it till tomorrow. Like you have to.
So he thought, okay, I'll
just whole, not gutted.
He was like, I'll just leave it whole and we'll do this tomorrow. I have no idea. And we talked to one of our buddies who's a hunter. And first we called Gaji. Jason unfortunately calls Gaji and he's like, I'm on my way. And he's like, do not come over. I will take care of it. And we call our buddy and he confirms, yes, you got to do it tonight.
So it's not just gutting it, because if you just had to gut it, that'd be easy. You string it up and you gut it. But this is, you have to scrape all the hair off first, because you don't want, when you gut it, to get all the mud and the shit inside of the cavity. So you have to get giant pots of boiling water, and
it was like negative.
It was negative. It was freezing outside.
Your boiling hot water would go cold,
so it wasn't like loosening the hair very well. Anyway, I got it. After about 2.5 hours, it's cleaned and gutted and hung up. And
I felt bad. I said, do you want me to come and help you? I'm just inside. I started trying to do like a little embroidery hobby projects. And he was like, no, this is man's work.
But the way they shot it is they shot it through one loin on the one side. And then I'm sure the bullet just damaged the other loin. So we lost both of the loins and basically got 2 baby back legs. That was really all that was. There's no
2 hind legs.
2 hind legs. Yeah. There's no real pancetta on it. Like they're boar. They're really lean. There's no ribs. Like the ribs aren't anything. And there's no meat on them. There's nothing. So we got 2 back legs of boar and about 10 kilos of
So
boar meat.
Jason tries to give it some of it to Gachi because now we got all this freaking fresh boar in the freezer, and he goes, no. He's like, yeah. He's saying how good it is, and you got to do this and that, and he's like, great. Hold on, before you leave, let me give you some. And he's like, no. You just make it, and I'll come over and eat it.
Thanks, Gotch. No shit, huh?
I know. No. Just tell me when it's ready.
After we slaughtered our pigs last February, and finally the lard.
Can you believe that was only a year ago?
No, it seems like a lot longer.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. And finally this month the lard was ready.
So 11 months.
11 months. We could have kept it longer. I was just done looking at it. It's got to get out of here. Lardo in the style of a town called Colonata. We talked about it in our last podcast when we went to Colonata. I got on our first trip. I got a box.
Conca.
Conca, they call it, a marble box that you put the lard into to age it with the salt and the spices and a little bit of water, and it becomes this like slushy, watery, slushy, rock salty solution. And you just leave it, just let it do its thing, and nature and the marble does it. And after about a year, you pull it up, wash it off, pat it dry, and you slice it paper thin, and you could put it on crostini and just eat it. We ate it. It's delicious. You could put it under the skin of a chicken. You can use it in a pot of beans. You
rub it down. Yeah.
However you would use fat, right? We brought some up.
So, you jumped ahead. You did about 50 kilos.
Yeah, there's so much of this stuff. Like, this is something where a little block of it will last quite a while because you don't really mow down on this stuff. It's not butter.
The pigs we raised were the Chintasinese, which have the big fat backs. Like Jason, that was the story when he walked in the door after butchering the pigs, was 4 fat fingers of fat on their back. He was like, oh my God. And so we say there's the conco, the little marble. It was a marble box. But that was just one little piece you put in there compared to you got a huge.
I had to get a huge of in food grade plastic to get a box this big.
You would never be able to move it.
No, you need a truck. And
oh my God, we could barely move the little box. So he did freaking 50 kilos or so.
There's so much.
And, when we went down to unearth it too, you're kind of nervous because let me tell you, one box did not do well and the big bin did incredibly well. And that little box that didn't do well, you knew it. Like your body said, no.
Yeah, it smelled like rotting meat.
Totally. But then as soon as you opened the other one, that's what I mean.
Yes, it had a sweet.
It was clean or just good. And you're like, oh, okay.
You don't need to be an expert to know.
Exactly. To know that one I would put in my mouth and that one is disgusting and needs to be thrown away. But we took it up to Aqua Partita.
Because I needed to know, like, is this good? Is this not good? And they know aging of fat and pigs and all that kind of stuff, and took it up, and the owner, I'm like, I don't know, try this to see if I think it's great, see if it's any good. He goes, smells it, looks at it, goes, and throws it on the slicer, slices 2 slices off, puts one in his mouth, goes, and here's where I knew I was okay. He went over to the bread station, grabbed a piece of fresh
of their like focaccia
bread, opened it up and you see the steam coming out, and then shoved like 4 slices of it and just into
and you said the kitchen
sandwich. And everyone started coming over and taking slices and eating lard sandwiches. So I was like,
and no words spoken, but just head nods. And it was
nodding of heads.
He was like, I think it's good. The other thing when we went up there to have him try the lard was to deliver them some Christmas cookies. Well, not Christmas, but just for the holidays. And
they work like slaves during Christmas, so it's not. We don't even want to go up
right
there.
Then.
Yeah. We went after the holidays,
and so we went right before Befana, in fact, and we brought up chocolate chip cookies because we had a conversation about it over the summer. And if you haven't stayed here, we go up there all the time with the guests for lunch, and it's just a great.
It's the best restaurant in the area,
and just such a cool experience and whatnot. Family run. Anyway, so we bring up the chocolate chip cookies, and Jason made a gigantic double batch kind of thing for him because there's so many people up there too.
They all live there.
Yeah, and they all live there and work there. And I love Sylvia, the wife. of the owner, and the owner was the one in the kitchen with Jason eating the lard. And she goes, "Can we open these right now?" And I was like, "Absolutely." She couldn't stop from the first bite. She just couldn't stop eating the cookies. And she goes, "What? These are so good."
Oh, so here they don't put enough butter in. When they do chocolate chip cookies, they're not buttery enough at all. And they don't use brown sugar because it's not hard. It's hard to find brown sugar. And I'm doing
It's just regular
it's the
recipe.
Toll
I
House.
know. It's not like, ooh, or he's using some super fancy chocolate. It's like,
I just get good butter. I don't
butter.
get the grocery store butter, and I use the Toll House
But
recipe.
it knocks their socks off.
Yeah, we should start.
I
making
know
those.
it. And then all the staff, as they started walking in, I said, "This is just for you guys." And she goes, "Oh, none of the hospitality, like none of the guests, none of the patrons coming for lunch are going to see these cookies." She's like, "Are you kidding me?" But it was just fun to see them enjoy it so much. And especially when it's something so simply American, it's kind of fun to share that
And
too.
who doesn't like the chocolate chip cookie?
Exactly.
You
Just
you
makes
have
you happy.
to. I know.
I told her you need to have it with a glass of milk.
This is the time of year. Okay, so my big mouth got me in trouble. Not in trouble this year, but I'm what you would consider a complainer. I just like to complain about things because it's in my nature. So last year we started the season at the beginning of June. I think June 1, right? And I didn't like that because it was I procrastinated things in the house, getting the house ready, and all of a sudden it's spring and you get the garden in, and then it's like, holy crap, people are coming here in 3 weeks, and it just felt too late to have the house open for the season. So I told Ashley, I want guests earlier this year. She said, no problem. Ooh, she took me literally because we are before Easter this year in the month of April. It's like April 8th or 10th or something
13th.
like that. 13th. So that means that there is no sitting on your duff in this time of year doing nothing. We have to get to doing the little fixes around the house and all of that stuff. So one of the things that we had to go get fixed was when they redid the shutters, they didn't put a handle on one of the shutter doors for one of the main doors for our place. So you couldn't lock it from the out. You can lock it from the inside, but on the outside there's nothing. You can't even close it when you leave. You just have to leave it open because there's
Or like kind of push it together and hope for the best.
so there's nothing to touch. So got to take those off and take them to the shutter woodworking guy, and get that work figured out. Long story short, wow, was that a 10 minutes that you guys didn't need?
Even I at first was like, where is this going? This is not on the list.
We'll edit that out. We'll edit that out.
No,
We'll
you did
edit
a good
that
job.
out.
We're wrapping back around.
We had to go to Maurizio. Now, we've known Maurizio, the falegname, the woodworker, and his family for 17 years since we've been here. Could not remember his last name.
And we're
his
even friends on
family name.
Facebook, I think.
I could not remember. I cannot remember his last name. So I had to call Gaji because I had to, whatever. I needed to know. I needed it for something else. Gaji, what is the name of Maurizio? What is the family name, the cognome of Maurizio? The falegname? I said, yeah. He goes, Olivieri. Why do you need this information? What do you mean? Why do I need this information?
We needed it because he needed to call another woodworker who Maurizio told us about to make sure just to say, Maurizio Olivieri suggested we call you. It was more for that was
Just
all
to be
it was,
vouched
a
for.
reference.
Yeah.
And God, she goes, gives him the last name, Olivieri, and he goes, what are you going to use it for? Like, why do you need it? And it was like, what do you think? We're starting some scams.
Yeah, we're gonna steal his identity and go.
It was so bizarre.
It was just so weird.
It just also shows still that bizarre suspicion every once in a while that people have. Like, what are you?
Why do you need this information for?
Rosanna's very much like that.
Yes, she is. Rosanna also, they're both forgetting things. So Rosanna accused me the other day of not giving her the €6 for the sausages that she brought me.
It was a deal.
It
was a deal. She pulled me aside.
I know she did. Meanwhile, as soon as she gave me the sausages, I shoved $10 in her hand, and she said, "No, it's only 6." And I said, "I don't care." She goes, "I don't have any change." I don't care. Just take it.
She pulled me aside to say it didn't matter, and that Jason probably has been worried about it, and just to not worry about it. But I was like, He must have forgot. Like, what?
No,
Okay,
I
no
absolutely
problem. It
paid
was
her.
hilarious.
She forgot, which I would be mortified if I didn't give her the money back. But anyway,
Small town.
small
What
town.
are you going to do with this?
So
what are
why
you
did
gonna
I
do with
tell this whole story about the doors?
Just to get to Maurizio.
Oh, yeah, to get to the story. Okay, Maurizio. Oh, and in the long run, the doors can't be fixed. We get to buy 2 brand new doors. Awesome. Awesome. These doors are only like 4 or 5 years old.
There's nothing wrong
There's
with
nothing
them.
wrong with the doors other that they cannot put the handle and a lock on the outside. We have to throw them away. Awesome. $300. Gone. Sweet.
Maybe you can use them in the garden.
Shove them up my butt. That's
Exactly.
what they're paying for. Around our area, wintertime means wood harvesting. Wood is trees are fallen for the main source of heat in around our area. We heat with wood. Most of the people I know heat with wood. And it is by far the cheapest source of heating around because let me tell you about electricity and gas in this continent.
Boy, we're back to Creasy.
Oh boy, I don't know what's going on politically, but our bill for electricity last month was stupid high. So I can't wait to see what happens when the guests come. Anyway, you hear the chainsaws going all over the place, and it's a sure sign of winter because once they can fell the trees up to a certain date in April. Don't know the exact date, but it's basically when the trees start blooming and budding. That's when they have to stop felling them, and you'll hear them start cutting up the fallen trees and hauling them out of the.
Yeah, so it doesn't mean the chainsawing.
No, the chainsawing goes all summer long because then they have to, shake off the branches and cut them into 1.5 meter length, and then they haul them out, and then they have to cut them up into firewood and all that. So you'll hear the chain. It's a beautiful hum of summer. I like it.
Well, we knew they had started, and we assumed they were going to start doing a zone along our road because there was some wood that was cut and some trees fallen, and then no real activity in that little zone for a while.
It was the holidays.
And then Jason goes to our neighbor's farm the other day because Fridays he's going up to Kalikotso to help at the barn and feed the animals and stuff. And he comes back right away. And it was like, what the hell? Why do I hear him outside? And he's like, no one's going anywhere. Oh, yeah, I was supposed to go into town to argue about the electricity bill. So there's like,
no one's going anywhere.
Horses.
There are 5 giant trees laying across the road. No one is going, and 3 guys just looking at me when I drove up. And I said, all right, boys, how long is this going to be? No problem. 30 minutes. And I'm looking at these trees being like, get the hell out. Sure shit, 30 minutes later, the road was
quick.
They
Those
are
3
quick.
guys.
Those guys can run a chainsaw.
But they're back now that the holidays are over,
Yes.
and they're working.
So it's interesting also because unlike in the States where they clear cut things, like just totally take the side of a hill and cut all the trees down, they don't do that here. They do what's called the 5-in-1. You have to have 1 tree with a radius of in every 5 meters. So they thin everything rather than clear cut it. But so they come through every 17 to 20 years.
I think
here.
the minimum is 15.
Okay.
That you have to wait to have them come out to tell you if you can do your wood.
But we were talking about, I'm like, didn't they just cut that area right there? Like they just did it a few years ago. It wasn't that long ago. It's like, no, they did it the first year we've came, and now we are here long enough to see the second cycle.
That's the
through.
crazy part.
And
because I was thinking the same thing going, because we were trying to figure out where are they going to move to cut the wood? Are they going to keep going kind of up this one hill? Or are they going to cross the river and go to another
Why we
hill?
asked that is because the first thing they do is clear the wood. There's these logging logging paths that they have to clear the brush and all the trees out of so that they can move the tractors up in to bring the wood back down. So the first thing they do is start clearing the paths, but it's like, where are they going? Are they going to go this way with the path? Or are they going to go towards...
And then so you're kind of looking at all the wood and the trees and thinking, that one looks a little thinned out. And then you're starting to do the math going, wait, that was almost freaking 20 years ago now that they did this.
I know.
We've been here
long enough to see the
wild
cycle.
part, and we've I don't even know if we've ever talked about this on the podcast, but how it's only another 5 or 6 more years till we will have been living here longer than we did in America.
That's true. Why do we speak such shitty Italian?
I don't know. Let's not talk about that. But that is wild to be here so long.
Yeah. I ain't never going back.
He ain't never going back.
Things we saw in the news over the holidays. Ashley saw this.
Yeah.
Okay, so Italy had the €1 houses, which was a scam. It was total. It's not a scam, but it's not. You're not going to show up with your €1 and say one house, please. That's not.
Well, and then you had the other extreme too, where you had not extreme, but another scenario where you had like Portugal doing the golden passports, where if you invested.
If you bought a house over X amount,
exactly, they were also giving you your citizenship, which
but
was
you couldn't
crazy
sell the
fast
house
track.
for X amount of years, whatever it was.
So all these countries have their own little schemes and different things going on. Well, Spain forever has been flooded with Northern Europeans buying land. And Spain has just announced a 100% tax on properties purchased by non-EU citizens, which is pretty crazy. So it made me think,
what will Italy do?
Yeah, what will Italy do now? Go from the $1 to 100% tax? Like, I feel like this would be totally something they would jump on board with.
Here's the moral of all these stories: if it's too good to be true, it ain't, right? There's never something for nothing.
Exactly.
€1 home, free passports, the whole deal. I'm always skeptical. Maybe because I'm, what is that word again?
Cynical?
Oh, yes. Holy shit, am I cynical?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We were talking about that the other day, about happy-go-lucky versus cynical, and I was like, I wouldn't call you happy-go-lucky.
What?
I would not either. And I was like, I think I am pretty happy-go-lucky. Anyway.
Yeah, but you can put on a tinfoil hat real quick.
Real quick.
What happened to Building 7?
Oh, well, not that, but this morning we woke up and there was no power, which rarely happens. And in that like hour and a half, I don't know, that we were up and no power, because it had gone out at like 5:37 or something. And it's like 6 something, and we're just like, what is going on? We got to figure out the plan. How long is this power going to be out? Jason goes outside and sees that the power's off on the windmills at the end of the valley. So he's like, okay, it's not just our house.
That's another thing. If the power goes out, shouldn't they have a backup generator for the red lights for the on the top of the giant windmills?
Maybe it's solar and it was night.
You just think that,
I know.
We should have those on even if the power goes out.
So then we're thinking, okay, if this power stays out, like we got to call someone and find out if theirs is out once the hour is right, and then head into town.
How much gas do I have for the generators? Because
Yeah.
I just re-upped the dog food. I got 200 kilos of dog food in a freezer. If it's out more than 8 hours, I got to I got to hook up the generator and do all that.
So we're just kind of starting to think about logistics and all this, and then it's like, God, this is so weird. Like, it wasn't really windy, it wasn't crazy rainy. Like, I wonder what happened. And then we just both had this eerie feeling of going talk about tinfoil hat. Jason was like, "Is this something to do with like
World War III just
World
popped
War
off?"
III just popped off, and
Because
I was like,
we lost our internet because we used to have satellite internet the day the Ukraine war popped off.
we were online.
And it just went out.
We were up early.
And
It
it
was
never
5:30 in the morning also.
and it never came back.
Nope. And so then we're like, and then it was hilarious. Like right at Jason even joked, going, maybe someone just hasn't gotten to work yet. And sure as shit, 7 on the dot. I am not joking.
Yeah.
Power came on.
It's like a breaker flipped, and if someone was at work at that time, they would have just flipped the breaker and reset everything. But since it was Sunday into Monday morning,
Totally.
no one was at work until 7.
And I just think, was there not any alarm system or like a buzz that someone gets on a phone that says you got to come flip this switch?
I don't know. Who
But
knows? It
7
doesn't
on the dot.
It doesn't have enough to complain about it. We've been
it
to
doesn't. We're
places
so
in
lucky.
Greece where it's like they're like, oh, this happens all the time. Like we have.
Or we're Belize. Same
Belize
thing.
barely had electricity.
God. But let's see here. What else was going on? Oh, we missed, though, yesterday the blessing of the animals.
So
unfortunately, I was not in the loop.
There's lots of there's different dates that you will see blessing of the animals in different towns. Here in ours, it's San Antonio Abate, and it's usually at the middle of January. And we usually rely on Rosanna to tell us about these things, like when it actually. We should know that. Like it's the Saints' Day. They have calendars with all the Saints' days on them. It's always Sant'Antonio Abate.
But it's going to always be on a Sunday. They're going to do it on a Sunday here.
Oh, even if the Saints' Day falls. Now, do Saints' Day, is it like weird where it's like the third Thursday of January where it changes the day all the time?
Maybe.
Like Easter's never the same day.
I don't remember that in Catholic school. So.
What a waste of money.
Listen, let's chat really quick. I want to give you guys the heads up on some of the 2025 dates. The calendar is up, latavolamarque.com. One of the first workshop that we have availability for is the 12th to the 17th. This is our Made in La Marque 5-night workshop. This one's really fun. It's got the wine tour, market tour, 2 cooking classes. We do a little walk through Piobico and up to the castle, have lunch in town there. It's a real taste of our area and a nice seasonal one to come to in the spring. Then we have a 2-night getaway also the 20th to the 21st in May. So if you don't have much time and you just want to come for a cooking class, there it is. Then jumping ahead into June, because then we're booked until the 12th to the 15th of June, and then the summer season begins. And you can check the dates there on the website for different 3-night workshops or other 5-night ones. And we still have some availability in June, July, and August for booking out the farmhouse for your friends and family. So shoot us an email, info@latavolamarque, or visit the site for the calendar and all the details.
All right, I think we'll wrap it up there. Not much going on in the next few weeks. It's going to be a lot of getting things ready for just boring stuff. Silicone in bathrooms. Hot silicone talk.
We are going to be in a cookbook or in a new travel book called Manja coming out. It's already out in Australia. You can pre-order it, and it is going to be available worldwide in March. The next podcast, I'll give out all the details.
Wow.
It's a great one.
All right.
It's about eating your way through Italy.
Very good. Anything else that you want to talk about or excited about coming up that looking forward to preload for the next one? Because
I just did. I was talking about the book.
Oh, that's right. Okay. But that's not, I don't really care about that one.
Of course you don't.
All right. Very good.
All right. Have a great one, everyone. Thanks for listening. Ciao, ciao.
Sentire Media.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com. That's SENTIRE media.com and find out how to submit your show.